Hey, Jules Plus Vegan in the pink, literally pink and pink, right? Anyway, I just am always happy when you stop in. And those who are just joining us, you are so welcome. May I be another resource on your wellness journey. What I wanted to talk about was accepting life on life's terms. And I don't think there's anything easy about that. And I've kind of been challenged on that recently in this sense. I've been sick, and so I haven't been able to do what I prefer to do, and that is difficult. But there's things in life right now that aren't allowing me to, and I've been seeing it more with my husband, and I think it's almost harder sometimes for a guy when I think men prefer to work, and when they can't work like they like to, they don't feel like they're in control. And I know I'm generalizing, this certainly isn't true for all men, but it's definitely true for my husband. And so when he can't work, it is not an easy time for anyone. Like, oh my gosh, pull it together. Then he thinks that I'm not being compassionate for him, or he'll let me have it and just say, not everybody has your faith. And I get it, because I remember even with my father when I was growing up, my father was an amazing provider. To have 11 children before the age of 35 and never go on welfare. Never have to accept freebies from anything. Though the community loved to drop their clothes and things off at our house like we were the Goodwill, which we would lovingly repack up and redistribute. I remember one time we were eating dinner and I said to my father, don't we need to thank God? I think we just started eating right away. And he must have been very frustrated that day. And he was like, why are you thanking God? I'm the one who's doing all the work. And I said, well, because he gave you a job? I have a tendency to put my foot in my mouth and say exactly what people don't want to hear at that moment. But honestly, my husband's kind of like that. He's like one of the mythology people, Atlas, who's chronically holding up the world. He just feels like he has to do it or it won't get done. And then I'm a God person, which really frustrates him, because he's like, if I had 1% of your faith, blah, 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 and instead it looks like I don't care. I so care, but I have the grace to let go and let God, right? I have the grace to ask God and trust that he's on the case. And not just rest, because like I said, ever since Christ was crucified and his hands and feet were bound to the cross, we've been called to be his hands and feet. So I'm not saying to just rest, on your laurels. You still have to do the footwork, but ultimately to surrender to the understanding that if you've asked, you shall receive, right? So ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be opened unto you, seek and you shall find. All those kind of things. Those all come from surrender. And so for me, in surrendering, that's accepting life on life's terms. We cannot get that we can't get his truck and trailer out of the mud, because it is raining and snowing and the storms are still coming and it's just stuck in the mud. And so it's like, well, what are you going to do what things can you control? What is in your control? And so luckily, he was actually able to do some things on the computer, file some things for the business, and do some receipts and things like that he normally can't do because he's out on the road. So it allowed him to focus a little, but mostly he was just like, everything was too much. And I certainly understand that. For me, I've had this cold. It's going away, but it's certainly not gone. So just when I want to be my superhero self, I'm kicked back from the cold. And, I was supposed to be observed. I was happy not to be, but on the other hand, that'll be hanging over me until it's done. But what can we do? The district was closed. It may be closed again tomorrow. We may or may not be able to go down the hill and try and dig that truck out. I don't know. But I know that we've asked God. I know that there are many things we can control. And so even though life is doing life on its own terms, we can certainly find that one small thing that we can do, that we can control, that's in our control. For me, one thing that's always in my control Some would certainly argue food, right? The food choices that we choose to eat, what we choose to put in our mouth. And that is certainly largely true. I mean, sometimes you don't have access to the food that you prefer. You could certainly abstain. But that's sort of one thing. But my greatest control by far is my knowledge and intelligence, which I can always add to and retain. And then my faith. I mean, put me in any box you want. In my heart, my soul, my mind. The Lord is present. The saints are present. I can call, talk, ask all day. And that belongs to me exclusively. So no matter what's going on, that's a blessing. I can't control my dreams, though I've certainly given examples of where I've participated in them, even outside my body. But I can't control them. I do sit outside my dreams, so I literally watch my dreams happen, which is kind of an interesting perspective. But again, that's not conscious. Grinding my teeth during my dreams, if I could control my dreams, I wouldn't be grinding my teeth, and these wouldn't be fake. I'm breaking them 3 times, grinding. It's pretty creepy when you wake up with bits of teeth in your mouth. It's all right, because I'm just down here for the ride, and I'm happy to do it. All right, so what about you? What do you do when you can't control certain things? Do you have the grace to let go? Do you have the grace to focus on what you can control? It's grace in my mind. It could certainly be practice and discipline, but it's largely grace. So, okay, that's my talk, my friends. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave comments, like if you like, join us if you haven't. Let me know if you have any prayer requests. I'm pretty good at it. And my request is continued prayers to get that truck out of the mud, peace for my husband in his heart for things he can't control, and God bless our community up here and all communities that are dealing with weather and snow and, you know, things that are very challenging to the human body, most certainly. And that list is endless, but you know what your needs are. So let me know what they are, and I'd love to support you. And until we talk again, be blessed.